Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Friday, the end of the week for some of you. Today's the 18th of October, and what are we going to be talking about today? Well, I thought we'd close out the week with you need to teach others how to treat you. And this is especially for you guys like myself that are in business, that customers will walk all over you if you don't set it right and, well, hang tight. This should be good. Alrighty, welcome back. My name is Eric, and if you didn't know, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday the 18th of 2024, October. So what am I saying with you need to teach others how to treat you? If you're the type of person that is a people pleaser, then expect for customers and other people to tread all over you like you're a floor mat. And they will. They will want to take advantage of you. And the best word I can tell you to learn is no. That is a complete sentence. No. And that says, no, I'm not doing it. No, this is more than what I want to take on. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I can give you so many instances of this. But you have a customer that is a new customer for you, but it's a has-been for a lot of the other shops. And what do I mean by has-been for the other shops? I mean the other shops have had their fill, and they don't want nothing to do with this person, iota. And they've learned the hard way, just have to tell this person no. So now they've found you, right? And they will take advantage of what you guys agreed upon for a certain thing. I mean, they're the ones that will argue about the bill. They're the ones that will tell you had shoddy work. They're the ones that are going to, try to huff and puff their way through and bully you into doing what they want for less money. And I learned the hard way. I've had a few of these customers over time, and the ideal place to be is where you have enough customers that you don't need to take on everybody. But in the same breath, I'm going to tell you, no matter how many customers you have, you don't need to take on these customers and waste a breath on them. But for many of us, we don't know that because the other shops aren't communicating that. And that's where I say you have to be partners with the other shops and play well together because they will help you avoid some headaches. And that name, if you were part of the other group, where you're partnered, you're getting together, having a group talk and so forth, good chances are this pain in the ass guy, his name would have come up. And you would have heard it before. And it would have set off, red flags to stop, right? You have to pick and choose and let people know that this is not acceptable, certain ways to treat you, right? I get so many businesses now that say, oh, the customer is always right. No, they aren't. And if I told you I never went toe-to-toe with a customer, I'd be lying. Because I have. There's been a few of them that I was ready to catch their unit on fire right in front of them because of how they were treating me and my crew. And you can get your point across without being disrespectful. And one of the pet peeves I really have is being disrespectful to any of my employees. I won't tolerate it. And I don't expect them to tolerate it. I don't want them to have to even deal with it. If you got a customer like that comes in, what I always tell my people in the past is, give me a shout. You're not paid enough to deal with them. That's my job. And I'll make or break whether we do the job or not, or finish the job. But it goes back to teaching people how to treat you. You know, you needed to learn the word no. If you're stressing out and you've got quite a bit of work on your plate right now and somebody's asking you to do one more thing, it's better to say no than have a conflict because you weren't able to do it in a sufficient amount of time, right? And that goes for that person saying, oh, can you take mine in just this one time and I really need it back by tomorrow? And you rush his in and you rush his out. What have you just taught him or her? That you're willing to do it and they'll continue asking because you basically have taught them that, yeah, that you will put their machine ahead of everybody else's. Or taking on a job that you know nothing about and trying to give an estimate. I've seen so many guys, you know, in business that will pull from past history of their, in our business, repairs, right? And if a normal repair goes all right, you're looking at, let's say, $200. But if it goes south, now the labor will start tacking up, right? You may have to use cutting torches. You may need specialized tools. You may need, because it didn't go according to plan. But if you've stepped out and you've given this guy an estimate of this is what it's going to cost you, if you give him a bill for twice that amount, he's going to be irate. And some would say, well, I can't blame him. Yeah, I can. Because he knew that that was an estimate. That was going to be the low end. But I also blame the shop owner like myself. Why are you giving estimates without at least getting a good look at what it is? And one thing I've learned over time is you tell people, look, in the past, this is what it's ran for a cost. But if we run into, you know, hidden issues, the price can go up and will go up because it's labor intensive at that point. And the idea that you're going to get it back tomorrow is, I can't entertain that either. My shop operates on first in, first out. So that means I can't just take your machine and put it ahead of 10 other people that have been waiting patiently, because I'm afraid I'm going to lose your work. Lose the work. You can't ever be fearful of losing work. If the work is there, the work is there. If it's not, then you got to figure out how to get more work coming to you, right? But you want the right kind of work. I'm not saying that every job is going to be a bed of roses, but I'm saying that if you pick the right jobs, a lot of times what it boils down to is the customer and your feel from them. A lot of times when I see a conflict with business, when it comes between you and your customer, a lot of times it's how you're saying things and how they're hearing things, okay? And there can be a big discrepancy between the two, right? You're thinking you're getting your point across, and they're thinking something else. And it's not even remotely close to what you're working on or what you're thinking about doing. And the other thing that I see that is when you try to pacify a customer, and you want to please every customer that you have, and you tell them what you think they want to hear instead of the truth, that leads to conflict. See, a lot of it starts with you, with me, and how I'm getting my point across. And a lot of times what I've learned over the years with customers is I'll repeat back what I think I'm hearing, and then we'll go from there. But you can't please everybody all the time. You need to know your limitations of your mechanics, of your shop, and what your abilities are. If somebody's trying to get you to do something outside that realm, it's an unknown. If you haven't done it before, it's an unknown. So that means you're going to be learning as you go. But a lot of times what I see also with when shops get, a bloody nose from a customer is instead of telling them exactly how it is while it's going on and being honest with them about why it's taking so long, that the customer becomes upset because you haven't met his or her expectations of what you said you could do. See, you can oversell yourself. And I've seen this happen so many times of we'll work on anything. We'll do this, we'll do that. And one of the things that got me a couple times, and now I don't do it anymore, is if I can't fix it, I don't feel like I should charge you for it. And case in point, we had a fellow that had a Massimo. Yes, a Massimo. And he had no compression. And he asked us if we could rebuild the top end. And Claude's like, no, I'm not doing it. It's nothing I want to do. So I had another mechanic that worked for me on contract that did work on side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and all those. And he agreed to do it if I bought the parts. So I bought the parts and paid his labor, but it still didn't run. This was after a new jug, piston, rings, and then we started replacing the CDI boxes and everything else, all right? Next thing you know, labor and all, I'm in it around $2,100. And the customer is irate because now it's going on because I've taken it to a different shop again to see if they could do the work, and then I would just pay their labor and tack it onto the bill. Well, I end up paying their labor and a few parts, but still it didn't run. Now, whose fault is that? Right here. I should never have taken on something that we wouldn't be willing to do ourselves. If I've got to farm it out, then I have to rely on people that want to get paid whether it works or not. They're not making the claim of if it doesn't run, then I don't feel obligated to pay you. So we ended up, I finally told the customer to come get it. And I ate that $2,100 just to get it cleared off the plate. I had bought all the new parts and it still wasn't running. You don't want to oversell. And when it comes to doing repair work, you need to be forthright with your customer and letting them know every step of the way. This is the way we do it now, is if a customer brings a unit in, we tell them, look, we'll do a diagnostic on it. And if it's going to be anything bigger than what you and I are talking right now, I will call you before I pull the trigger on it to order the parts. That way, you're getting an informed decision. It's always going to be on you, the customer. Do you want me to go farther? Do you want me to go farther? And the thing of, if it still doesn't run, that you don't owe me money doesn't fly anymore. Because we've gotten into those instances where we've had machines at other shops that we didn't know about, or some Joe Schmo that backyard mechanic, so-called, they had worked on it and got their hands in it and screwed it up before we even got to it, And that usually ends up costing more. And the customer's not going to tell you that they had it to somebody else. They're just going to say, oh, it quit working. And so you need to figure out what's best approach for you, and how you allow people to treat you, and how you teach people to treat you. By simply saying no can solve a lot of it. And knowing what the limitations are of your shop, of your people, and understand that shit happens. And don't sweat the small stuff, right? So on that note, I'm going to start wrapping it up. What are your take on it? Because I see this so often, especially with shops where the owner is a people pleaser. And I've had it where I had a customer service rep for us that was a people pleaser, and we started having a lot of problems with customers because they had higher expectations than what they should have. And that was because one of my team members was giving it to them. So on that note, put in the comments what you think, maybe what you've run into in the past. And on that note, you guys have a great weekend. I'll probably have something for you bright and early tomorrow morning. Again, thanks so much for watching.